Oh, that shows up. Hello, hello. Hope everybody's doing well. Yeah, I'm doing alright. Usual Wednesday is my tiring limit day, but otherwise I'm alright. Needle, congrats on first bugger. Oh, yeah. Wednesday's my limit for work. Like, I can handle 3 days, and then Thursday, Friday turns into extra energy mode. Oh, such 30 stream streak. That's basically a month. Well, technically 28 could be a month due to February, but yeah, nice. Thank you for the 30 stream streak. It is very nice. But yeah, I constantly keep being asked, how are you doing? Are you okay? Blah blah blah. Not from here. From here is fine. At work, I mean. At work, I just have the mindset to get on with work. Constantly being asked that is, well, it's a stark change from when I was never even asked. But it's always like one extreme or the other. It's either I don't get asked at all, or I'm asked all the time, every hour. Oh, in the about that. I think that was just people behaving. Something to do about people behaving. And the Alpha or Omega, or I guess Alpha and Omega would be Virgil, technically. Yeah, all of that section's pretty crazy. I think it just needs some nice pictures. Some nice little pictures to be throughout all of that, and honestly I think it won't matter that there's a heap of text everywhere, because there will just be nice pictures. So something to save up for. Not that I would know, because I never really see anybody. So it's hard to know. I could have aliens for all I know. Technically, I'm supposed to be the alien. No, that's more of my side of things. I know people are joking, but for some reason I feel like I still need to explain things. It's not even that I take things seriously, although I do, to a degree. But yeah, I just have this thing in my head where I have to explain things first. Technically I slept okay. I still woke up before my alarm though. I like how, unless I'm completely, absolutely drained of everything, I don't seem to have a problem waking up before my alarm. I think because in my head I'm like, oh, I don't want to wake up to an alarm, it's too surprising. So I wake up before. Somehow. I mean, I set it just in case. But yeah, I always wake up before. Every time. I'd have to be extremely tired to have to wake up to an alarm. And the only way that happens is if I'm just... It's more being mentally drained rather than physically drained. But yeah, I always wake up before my alarm. Sometimes it's not too bad and it's either just a few minutes before or like 10 minutes before, you know, not too bad. But then there's the days where you might wake up somewhere between, you know, 30 to 60 minutes before the alarm. Those are the worst ones. Because you've woken up too early, but it's not going to be long enough for you to doze back off. So it just is not comfortable. I have no idea. I feel like something's bit my neck. There's always a bug somewhere that manages to bite my neck. What a crazy day there. Crazy time. Lots seems to be going on around everywhere. Oh yeah, I'm trying a new team in the Atelier game that I'm playing, but yeah, I still need to get them like leveled up first. That'll take a while. Oh yeah, because I'm the type that can easily just get on with work. Like, if there's something you want me to do, you mention it and you don't need to literally see me all day. But yeah, when people bother, they're always like, I look just unhappy. And I'm just like, I'm just getting on with my work. Plus I'm tired. Like, just let me get on with it. It's annoying having to explain to people that I'm okay. At work. I stress that this is to do with work, not what's it. Like, who the hell smiles while they're working? Unless you have the type of job that requires it, or you really, really love your job. Yeah. Crazy. Thank you for the headbuds. What? You need to get on stream to get hatred. That was a game. Or are you talking about in general hatred? Because there was a game called Hatred. And it was banned. I think it was called Hatred. It was something around that. Because everything about it was just like not good. Oh, I guessed right. I took it as the game. Fantastic. I took it as the game anyway. I mean, I don't know how anyone would get influenced by that game. I mean, it looks very generic and kind of boring, honestly, but that's me. I've played too many. But I understand why it can be viewed the way it does. Besides, I'm still looking for well, a game that will probably never exist. More. Thank you for the follow. Thank you kindly. And it's pretty close. I forget that I still have the VIP thingy still there. I mean, games are very subjective, so... and people enjoy different things. Still makes me laugh when they still try to do the whole thing of video games makes you violent. It's like, no it doesn't. They can get you annoyed and angry at things, but not in the way they're trying to make it. Like, if a person got that way, I think that speaks a lot about the person, not the game. So, you know. And minus video games, humans in general are desensitized to violence because they like showing it so much. Yet when it comes to other things, God forbid we show that. That's a no-no. Many things that we don't get to show, but if it comes to violence, we're like, yeah, okay, that's okay to show. We're a annoying species. Yeah, I know, right? Violence and stuff. All of that's existed long before video games were ever a thing. So, you know. I liked it when video games were niche. When, you know, it was liked by the minority at that point. I guess not liked by a minority, it was just liked by the people who actually enjoyed it. Nowadays it's all It's a mixed bag. You gotta search hard for the stuff that would, you know, you'd like. Just more rubbish in the bin kind of thing. Although that makes it sound like they're all rubbish, but you get the idea. Yeah. That's why it's nice to find the bits and pieces that do what they like. When you find those ones, it's quite nice. And they played a lot of different things growing up, so... things that nowadays probably wouldn't be around due to, you know, they wouldn't accept what's being shown or what's being said or how it's being said, because everything's just crazy. Still looking for my dream RPG there. Like some of the genre of games that aren't RPGs sort of have hints of these things, but obviously they end up focusing on the things that I'm not fussed about. Like at some point I'd like to Japan. I'd like to Japan? That's a sentence. I'd like Japan to catch up with, like, I don't know, how things can look with their games. Because you either have the small studios that you can tell they're small and they do the best with what they got, and then the big ones just kind of cater to the West, and it's just like, that's not why I liked you in the first place. That's why you like horror. I mean, if that's what it does for you, good, good. I already know the things I dislike, and ironically, the stuff I dislike in real life doesn't follow through into video games, so it doesn't affect me. You know how like people could be scared of spiders, or like when people play Subnautica, they can be scared because it's just basically a big massive ocean. Like, I get it, but I never get that way in a game because my brain is like, it's a game. But I do obviously get scared of horrors, but it's a horror game. It's kind of designed to make you feel unnerved or take you out of your comfort zone. I watched a person playing a game called Horses. It was just called Horses? What are these very direct names? Made you feel sort of guilty with the themes. I see, I see. Oh. Games are a difficult one though. Like, you see people online where they react so crazily to video games. Great googly moogly. And thank you for the head pats, Keely. Hope you're doing well. Like, I'm not saying everyone is that way with games. It's the ones that go OTT, where, you know, the reaction is just so overblown for what's going on, and I'm like, how? Even when games were new to me, I wasn't like this. I know not everybody's the same, but I'm trying to understand how people can get that way. Gets a bit crazy. Hey Shakina. Hello. Not that late. I've not long started. Hello, hello. Welcome in. Weird with films as well, because people are like, Megan is missing the most disturbing movie. I do not get that at all. What does that mean? Hum. Is that basically just when people are like, oh, you should see this, it's amazing, or something? I can't even remember the last film I actually saw. It was some years ago. A long while ago. I don't watch many films, or watch much of anything. Ah, okay. Yeah. I get you. It's like, it's like as well when they do trailers for things, whether any type of media for trailers, whether it be games, movies, TV shows, like they purposely make the trailer maybe seem like something it's not, to grab you. And a lot of the time they like showing stuff that could have or could be happening towards the end. Of course you won't know that because you need to reach there to know that, oh, that was, you know, 2 seconds of something happening at the end. But the whole point is to get you enticed, to hook you, and it's just like, yeah, that's why I don't bother watching though, because you just... Ooh, that was the other thing. Like especially with horror stuff, where they sort of maybe show a glimmer of the creature. Not fully, but they show something of it. And I think that just ruins it. Because the whole point of it is you're supposed to... A general premise with horror films is that it's gonna build things up for this big baddie. And I think as soon as you show what it looks like, you remove any sense of imagination that the person might have. And as soon as that's gone, and it's just more of, oh, okay, this is how it looks, you start adjusting. That's why I liked how Routine did it initially in that game. Because initially, the creature was invisible. I couldn't see it. I just heard that it was a big, heavy, stompy thing that could run. Supposedly, the reason you can end up seeing it is it's meant to be when it's, I think, not in hunting mode. Like it just thinks it's safe. So it goes in, just, yeah, you can see it. But that makes no sense when it does eventually chase you. Because then it should have gone invisible, I would have thought. You need to feel disgusted and ugly by the end. That's a way to feel at the end of a film. Well, I'm sorry, at the end of a psychological horror. I like if it can feel unnerving and maintain it through the course of the story. Like, holy moly, do people like pause menus? Because Routine didn't have a pause menu. I mean, you could bring up the pause, but it didn't actually, halt the game. And some people were really getting annoyed at the fact that it didn't have it. Because they're like, what if I'm busy with something or something urgent happens and I gotta quickly disappear? And it's like, well, then just go. They were like, if it's such an emergency, then surely that emergency will take precedence over a game. But no, they weren't having it, and were like, whoa, they should have a pause. And it's like, to be fair, if you're able to pause it, you can see what they were going for. It does make things more tense. You can't pause to gather yourself, and that was another point they were trying to make. Oh, not everybody can deal with this, so it should have a pause, so that if people are needing it, they can do it to calm themselves down. And it was like, again, it's the developer's choice, because they don't want to lose that tension. If you're able to calm yourself and then carry on, it ain't gonna be the same. So yeah, it's literally a design choice by that part. I think the one movie that made you feel that was the remake of Funny Games. I'm not familiar. Or were you talking in general? Hey Yuki. Yeah, I'm okay. It's Wednesday. It's tiring. I realised my naming sense I put wasn't anything to do with Wednesday, but I will. Yeah. As expected when I would return back to work, just tiring. But I'm okay. I'm pretty sure I slept okay, luckily. I did sort of have a headache when I was going to bed, and it was a bit concerning, but it seems okay so far. So I think maybe I just didn't drink enough yesterday. Hope you're doing well. The experience of this film is like being beat up for an hour and a half with momentary stops to try and move. That sounds like an absolutely horrendous film. Because I'm not the type to do that. If someone tried doing those sorts of things to me, I wouldn't be stuck on the ground, that's for sure. Regardless of how I'm feeling, I know how I get. There's no way. So yeah, I probably wouldn't like those sorts of things. Just got back home from work. Hey! Welcome back home. Welcome back from the horrors of boring work. I don't know. From work regardless. Hello Sam. Welcome in. Five. Five indeed. Thank you for the 5 stream streak. Thank you, Paul. Does seem to go fairly quickly. Depends on the mic. I in the version with the 3DO. I think they have like 2 or 3 versions. Although the one that costs like 3 grand is a waste of money, so. But, it'll be down to knowing them, premium. Something to do with them and their brand, probably. But the microphones they have in are usually pretty decent. Their customer service sucks balls though. Yeah, when they update them, they tend to discontinue the older ones. I'm glad I didn't go with a 3DO. Thankfully. It's not too bad considering. Well, I have heard like how good this microphone can end up being from others, so I know it's a good mic. The other stuff just depends on setup in a way. I think the funniest I had when I was trying to explain this microphone to someone was, because it wasn't a 3DO, they were like, oh, is it a knockoff version? And I'm like, no. It's better, technically. Quite amusing. It's a wild red. Even though it's been cold, mainly from the wind. Yesterday I was not cold, which was very strange. I was instead very hot. Like, yeah, I'm in a house, but still. I don't get why I was so hot, considering how cold it is. Yeah, I'm okay. Usual of back to work making me tired and not really having extra energy. And constantly being asked at work annoying questions. But I'm good. It do be the Wednesday. Hope you're doing well. $14. I mean, what's the usual for your area? Is that like cold or? Oh, you did say speaking of cold, so that's cold? Is that cold? Like, it's colder in specific parts of the country. So it's usually warm for you. Yeah, then I guess 14 would seem pretty cold then. That's fair. Like the current temperature here, when I get up in the morning it's like -3, -4 in the morning, although it makes it seem colder. It's currently 4 degrees there, but the breeze, the wind is certainly not that temperature. The wind is far colder. That's definitely Arctic breeze. But it's alright. Your hands go kinda cold, don't they? When you're not used to when something feels cold to you, yeah. Your hands tend to go terribly so. I mean, that's life in general, Paul. That's life in general. Generally, the whole point of life is to try and make it not be so pointless. That's what you do. You gotta find it. It's a difficult thing. Surprisingly, even in the cold weather, the nose gets a bit runny, but nothing crazy. And luckily, I don't seem to really sneeze, thank God. Babylon? How did we get to Babylon? Babylon. You wanna film something scary, but you don't know how to do it? There's many things I could say to that, but yeah. None of them helpful. YouTube tutorials. You can find most things on YouTube. But yeah, knowing where to look is always the thing, isn't it? Books are cool. I don't know what it is with books. I like collecting books. But I won't just willy-nilly collect books just because it looks nice. It has to be a book I'm interested in. So, while I don't have like a massive bookcase, I'm slowly getting stuff. Yeah, I get the ones that I do get. Else, what's the point of getting a book if you're not gonna read it? I like to collect art books as well. Usually to do with games. But I usually refrain from getting art books because they kind of cost. Like the amount I'd always like to get, they cost. And the price range on art books always like varies. Yeah, I have a bunch of books. Wish I could read them. I find it utterly ludicrous that you can't just read a book on stream. Like, do you know how many people don't read books? I think reading them on stream would be a brilliant thing, but no, it has to be... It shares a similar vein as music for some reason. It has to be really, really old so that you can read it, which is stupid to me, but whatever. You forced yourself into reading about 6 months ago. First ever proper book you read was Atomic Habits. Crazy. Atomic Habits. What was it about? Because atomic would kind of almost make it sound that it's a thing. I don't know what the book is. What's it about? And yes, it is against terms of service to just read. If it's a published book, then it's against terms of service. It's a famous self-help book. Oh, okay. Ah, in that sense. I see, I see. And that's how you got into reading? If it got you into it, then good enough. Reading's good. I prefer being read to rather than reading myself, but I'm not against it. Because if someone reads to me, effectively I'm able to imagine everything, but if I'm reading it myself, obviously I'm using my brain to read what the hell I'm, or you know, to understand what the hell I'm reading, so my imagination can't really go as hard when I'm busy reading. But yeah, dozily, you can't just read any random book that you feel like. It has to be something really, really old. The Art of War. Like, there are some things that are okay. But majority of stuff that you'll hear people read is usually something that's been around for a long while. It either has to be extremely old, or it has to be, like, not published by anyone. It's like a form of copyright. I get it, protecting someone's work, but I still find it really stupid, because plenty read books, but plenty also do not read books. Mein Kampf. I don't know if one can read that. I feel like it should be okay. Like, I don't think generally the contents is not allowed sort of thing. It's literally just to do with publication rubbish. Gore books. How would one even write a gore book? Would that just be someone that goes into detail about the gore? 19 something. Extreme horror is a genre. With books, yeah. But I never read anything that was like labeled extreme horror. Plus back then I wasn't too into horror. Imagination turned reality. Imagine a book from donkeys years ago that would talk about some absurdities of how a world would become. And then imagine that it's actually happening now. How on earth does a world degrade to that point? A book club. I mean, I think I'd be very bad at trying to talk about why I would like a certain book or something. I've always been bad at putting things into like a concrete just, you know, writing a report or whatever. Like, I remember having a thing for when I was in college, and I had to write up I had to write, I think, like 5 pages. Which doesn't sound like a lot, but it was 5 pages on like how the sound design was. And you would have to explain sort of what it would sound like, how you think it was made, and like what it does for the scene. And I was just like, what a crazy thing to have to write about sound, like actually analysing it and explaining why it is the way that it is. Ironically, a lot of the things I tend to read are like light novels rather than anything else. You've always got the 40k books. Eisenborn isn't too bad, considering it's to do with the Inquisition. Usually they're quite boring books, but that one's not bad. What was another... what's a good one? What's one that had... I've forgotten that man's name. Oh, there's a commissar that has ridiculous luck. I cannot remember his name. And I don't read enough to be able to think of a recommendation even for people that haven't really read before. Was it Kane? No. Commissar... oh my god, what was his name? They're a really funny book series. Like, he's an absolute coward. Well, he can see when things really aren't gonna go his way when he's put in these insane battles. And he'll go to retreat and just wander off somewhere. But then he'll always end up bumping into the exact thing he didn't want to bump into, and then has to think of a way to get out of it. And then by luck, he happens to deal with the situation. It is Kane? Where is my thing? We must investigate. I thought it was Cyphus Kane. That's why I was like... yeah, not the Kane like the way you spelt it, but it's Kane as in like, rain, just with a C. So C-I... C-I? C-A-I-N. But... I can't remember what books he's in. Basically, the combination of his character apparently is a blend of Blackadder and Flashman in a 40k setting. Blackadder I know, which was funny. Flashman I'm not familiar with, but it's very funny. See, you recommend actual books. I recommend something that's just was very enjoyable to... Because I had his books read to me, and it was very amusing to listen to his antics. Like, by all accounts, he keeps being labelled as dead, but he keeps showing up somewhere. And they're like, you're dead. You're officially labelled as dead. And he's like, well, here I am. Now, Horus Rising. Yeah, Horus Rising's not bad. It's kind of a go-to, but there's plenty of other books that are quite different from Horus Rising. God bless me. He has so much lore, this character. So many. Oh, we'll leave that alone. Yeah, second-hand with books isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like, if generally it looks like it's in pretty decent condition, then yeah, yay. Yes. It's been a while since I've read anything though, but that's how I get with any form of media. The only media I've kept consuming, so to speak, has been games. But that's because I'm forever on the lookout for my dream game, which will probably never happen. It's highly unlikely that it will happen, but that's the whole point of it being a dream game. Like, one day, you never know, I might see it. When I'm too old to barely hold a controller even, or something. We'll see. Ironically, the main thing I like from having books is just the fact that it's physically there. Like, yeah, you can get things on Kindle. Obviously everyone's different, like, a book is still a book, even if you want to read it, like, electronically. But, I don't know. I like the physical touch, and the smell of the fresh pages. It's just me though. Learning. When did we go away from books? I had a teacher like that in my secondary school days. It was one of the more enjoyable classes I had, because they always liked to show videos of, because it was to do with chemistry. They showed a lot of Brainiac, which was very amusing. However, in terms of learning, while it was the more enjoyable of the bunch, I think out of the three sciences, chemistry was my worst. Despite the fact that I enjoyed it so much, I learned very little compared to like physics and biology. That's a name. Glad you're into books though. They do share a lot of stuff. Hey Capricorn, wanna come in? Hello, hello. How are you feeling? How goes the midweek? getting enough rest, I hope. Ah, I see. Yeah, I'm quite tired as well. Tomorrow will just be a day of constant, I just want to be home. That's all mine will be. Thank you for the headbutts. Ah, so it's gonna be noisy. I wish I had the ability to work from home, but that's not how my job works, sadly. That noisy? What are they renovating up there? Especially in an apartment place, like what are you gonna do? And some loud renovations. Ugh. I imagine the floor would actually be like very loud. Drilling. Yeah. We had drilling at our work. Yeah. Noises from above. Especially when they're working on it. Hopefully soon, yeah. And by the latest, horribly, next week, yeah. Let me always work from home. God. Okay. You're doing board name spelling. I think most of us would. It'd be kind of nice to, well, sort of work from home. maybe. Definitely a tiring day. I would have to have a very different job to be able to work from home. One day. I just don't know what I'll end up doing. I thought I wouldn't mind office work to a degree, but actually I think I would, 'cause it would be too damn boring. I don't like being... When it comes to work, I don't like being stuck in one place for the entirety of the time. It's horrible. But yeah. I hope you have a nice sleep, Capricorn. Hopefully you get well rested from it. In the North Pole. Maybe, who knows. Thank you for the headpats. Okay. Oh. Hey. Why? Oh. In. D. Raymond. Oh, such 15 stream streak. It does indeed go up. Thank you, Solbs. No problem. No problem, Yuki. I mean, there's probably a video somewhere of my VODs where I end up just bubble on for a while. There's definitely been those types of streams. How goes things? It goes okay. Just tired. 3 days of work is always my limit. So tomorrow will probably be tiring. Especially if I'm gonna have a constant day at work. Whereas like, how are you doing? You don't look very happy. What's wrong? And it's like, please just leave me alone. Yeah. I feel like sometimes I shouldn't really respond with tired, because it's probably a given that I'm tired, but yeah. But I'm always okay. For the most part, I am okay. Just worn. I'm not a bugger for doing what I do for work. But oh well. I hope you're doing well there. True. But I feel like that's gonna always be my response, because I'm usually streaming after work anyway, so I'm always gonna say I'm tired. The only way is when I actually have time off. But I feel that would have to be like more than a week off, else it's not enough time. You know, the week kind of just flows by in the blink of an eye, but 2 weeks tends to sort of just about work. Then you got all these kids with school, where they get like what? How much time do kids get off? Several months? Like almost 2 or 3 months off in total throughout the year, and we don't even get one. What is this? Heresy. I'd like as much time as a school person off. Several months off would be nice. I mean, depending on your job, you sort of can have that, but that'd be difficult. I need like a super high paid job where it's like busy for 4 or 5 months, and then I don't work for like 3 months or something. I like this split. That would be a nice split. Raven, hello. Hello, welcome in. How am I? I am tired. But I'm good. I'm good. I hope you're doing well. Okay, next on the list was ear cupping with strength that I don't have today, so here we go. Pink? It looks purple to me. Is that not like, yeah, that looks purple to me. That's fine. It can be pink as well. I was just making sure my eyes weren't going weird. Indeed, Red. Indeed. Well, that was the ear cupping for what I could manage. Zipper. Depends on the shade of pink, but yeah. I think in some places you'd probably get stared at. If you did that over here, not so much. You'd probably glance and go, oh, he's wearing pink. And then that's about it. Well, that was the zipper. Some ear swipes. Oh god, like I was doing before. I have the memory of a sieve when I have to remember something that I've done. Swipe over the ear. I mean, I assume the rubbing, but just done differently somehow. Hey Doug, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. okay? I see, as he randomly backs. Oh well. But I'm glad you're doing good. I do well. Just tired. Work day, I suppose. But yeah, I'm doing alright otherwise. Or just very lack of energy. It's weird, it's kind of surprising when you don't have time off and you sort of just carry on what you kind of just sort of used to and you get on with, compared to when you have time off and then you carry on again and you realise, wow, I must have been very tired. But somehow you don't feel it as much. Like I still end up closing my eyes on my break times because I can't fall asleep, but like, yeah. Blowing. Blow. 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 The rain stick. It is an item that can kind of sound like the rain falling. They're usually made out of wood, usually. And to get them to go like... It'd usually just be like a tube thing that has stuff inside it with a load of like other bits that are going through it to get in the way, so it makes all the noise as whatever's inside falls down. However, usually to get it to have a good length of time, it would have to be a fairly long tube, but I feel you can just circumvent that by just twirling it appropriately. But some people like it though. It's fairly loud as well. You're not a tree. No, we are a lake instead, not a tree. There was some blowing there. Now I shall do the rain stick. That was the rain stick. Hi Ishmael, welcome in. Hello, hello. Hope you're doing well. It be a Wednesday for me. Goodness gracious. I want something that, like, I remember thinking back in the day when Pokemon Gold and Silver first came out, how cool it would be if there was just, like, I remember thinking, oh, it'd be cool if, like, the other game was in here as well, and ironically, it was. Okie dokie. I hope you end up... Well, hello. Thank you for saying hello. And I hope you have a good rest. Hope you end up having some sweet dreams. May you rest well. Lord knows I will. Today. Because, yeah, too tired. But yeah, I hope one day with the Pokemon games, they kind of just combine all of the ones that they've made. But that would make it like the final Pokemon, because it will have everything. But they seem intent on focusing on gimmicks. But they've always been this way. They always add a little gimmick into their game. But for some reason, some of them have stuck. Like the Mega Evolution thingies, which is basically just they're turning Pokemon into Digimon. Because they're temporarily changing into these forms. So, yeah. I think I'd rather be interested in Digimon, to be fair. I used to draw both, actually. Like I used to do both Pokemon and Digimon, although I originally started with Digimon. Which, you know, is funny considering, like, technically Digimon was first anyway, but only with Japan. In the West, Pokemon was first, but I ended up liking Digimon first. So that's amazing. It was cool though. I can't remember which one it was. I remember when I ended up seeing one of the seasons, when I ended up checking it out again, and like he was going around, like a human was going around, because in the previous like Digimon in any other series, humans kind of stayed away, and it wasn't until Guillamon and all that where they eventually sort of merged to make their mega forms, which was cool. But then I ended up watching, I think probably the series after that, and it was just a guy going around punching Digimon which didn't really do anything to them, but it's how he would get the power so that his Digimon could digivolve, and I was like, well, what? Mad. And I've not played the new Digimon game yet, because I know it's gonna be a grind and a half. A very big grind. But I'm glad that they've got like that people have taken note of Digimon, like because Pokemon kind of just fell off for a lot of people. They were looking for another creature collecting game. Lo and behold, you had Digimon at the right time, and it happens to be like one of the best games they've had in a long time. So it's just like, yes, fantastic timing. Digimon's great. Too many people ignored it. But that's fine. Toby! Hello! It goes. It be midweek. Midweek. Yeah, I was saying how the new Digimon came at a good time, because like many people were sort of giving up on Pokemon, and then yeah, it ended up being a really good game to boot, so you know, converted a lot of people. You always thought Digimon was way cooler than Pokemon. Oh yeah, I was the same. I had like a Digimon compendium book thingy for the different Digimon at the time. And their designs were way more complex compared to Pokemon. Like Pokemon in comparison was just like a few shapes and some lines. That's about it. Digimon was like, okay, yeah, here's shapes and lines, and now here's some shapes within the shapes, with more shapes and other thing. You know, it had a lot more going on. You've seen someone play both the new Digimon and Pokemon game. I mean, technically the new Pokemon that came out is a spin-off, at least I hope it is. I wouldn't really class it as the mainline series, but the Pokemon games that I ended up liking have changed a lot. Like, I liked just being this random ass trainer, going around, exploring the world, capturing Pokemon, and eventually making my way to prove that I am the best trainer. And that was enough for me. It was cool. You meet loads of different people, and Pokemon too, and all that stuff. The new game, you're not going around the world. It doesn't feel that way. You're stuck in a city, for starters. You're limited to going into zones where there are Pokemon. And I don't know, the exploration seemed kind of annoying. Like, oh, there's a thing up here where you could just jump and get to it, or climb or something. No, you can't. You're physically inept at jumping, and you can't climb either. You have to eventually get abilities from your, like, Pokemon Pokedex thingy. And I'm just like, what is this? Like, it wasn't my cup of tea. And I don't like Mega Evolutions anyway, ever since they've introduced it, because it's basically just Digimon anyway. But half the time, like, the Pokemon don't really look any different. They're just like bigger versions with some weird thing attached to it, and it looks horrendous for the most part. Some other moves in Digimon are weird. Oh yeah, very weird. Very. It's an interesting world, put it that way. Digimon basically didn't shy away from some other stuff that's in there. Whereas I would say Pokemon's weird because it has obviously kind of weird and strange and a lot of everything in there. But in the games they usually don't show those things because it's meant for everybody. Which is a shame, because I feel like it was like when Pokemon Colosseum came out. Like, people liked that because the story was technically darker than your average Pokemon game. Which it actually was, because one, you could actually steal people's Pokemon. There were actually deaths in the game. It was a lot more serious compared to any other Pokemon game. It just felt weird starting at level 50, I think. It was a very interesting game they brought along. But Pokemon can be dark as well. It's just they don't really get put in the mainline thingies. I don't know. Strange thing. Then you've got me playing Atelier, which feels quite happy at the moment. To be fair, they're all different, just the one that I'm playing is very happy, but also very introductory, because it's having so many cameos from many different other games, and I feel like it's hard to focus on other aspects of the game when when you've spent so much time making these cameos for every character. Well, maybe not every, but a lot of them. Oh, my hand feels like it's falling asleep. Oh dear. But yeah, in terms of what I'm going to end up playing, at least for the beginning of the year, obviously I'll finish Atelier. I'm just going to call it Resolina. It's not the name, probably, but trying to fathom that name every time drives me woe. So, yeah, I'll finish that one, obviously. And then I obviously won't go and play another one, because that will be a bit daft. But at some point I'll end up having to play Sophie too. Just to... Although by the time I get to play that, people might or will have forgotten what the other one even looked like. But that's fine. I just want to end up showing that it actually looks very different. As for what I'll play after it, that is a good question. Code Vein 2 comes out towards the end of this month, but that's not necessarily something I want to play on stream, because I want to keep playing it, and I'm gonna have to keep stopping when I stop streaming. So, I mean, yeah, there will be plenty to explore, but I don't want to accidentally bump into things and be like, oh yeah, by the way, when I was off and just exploring, I found this, that, and that happened, and, you know, gets a bit crazy. Then sort of halfway through February, we have Reanimal. I did a little offline farming. Pretty much. I mean, to a degree I feel it's warranted, so that you can go through a game slightly less hindered. As it is, I'm just training on the Atelier one when I'm not streaming. But I had one thing for Sophie, because she doesn't have any of her additional hits, which makes it very hard for her to get AP back. And yeah, I was like, oh, I'm gonna watch this, so then I can, you know, just have more of her skills unlocked. And it wasn't anything major, but it's still something that included her. So I'm like, God, oh, difficult. I did end up making their weapons though. It actually feels a lot easier making Atelier weapons compared to the other characters. Nyagi, hello. Thank you for the head pats. There's nowhere that actually told me that you were the one that gave the head pats, but I'm just assuming it was you. I can check my other screen. It was you. I guessed right. Woo! Hip hip. Hello, hello there. It is good to see you. Yeah, just, just the usual, just tired. But otherwise, dandy. Dandy dandy. Space Dandy. Has anyone seen that anime? Space Dandy. Like, it's actually, it's actually pretty good. It's one of those shows that I can't even really describe. You know how with Gintama, there's not really... They have their arcs, but Gintama's very all over the place, isn't it? Space Dandy is kind of the same. Just that, imagine, if I'm remembering correctly, imagine an art style like Cowboy Bebop, but imagine it in space. And yeah, it's got really good humor. But it is, it's a good show. And yeah, it's quite funny. I've only seen like bits and pieces of it. But every time I'd watch it, it was always extremely amusing. I feel it is. Let me check. Whoosh. Apparently it was 2014. Yes. It was a short... Think more modern day. But the show was cool. It was a cool show though. I'm not gonna try to explain why it's cool, because I can never sell things to people, but it's just one of those where it was just very enjoyable to watch. Actually, does it have a synopsis somewhere? Oh, it does. Okay. It's got down for the plot. I never knew what the plot actually was, but here we are. The space opera follows the misadventures of Dandy, an alien bounty hunter who is a dandy guy in space, in search for undiscovered and rare aliens, with his robot assistant QT and his feline friend named Meow. Dandy is unaware that he is being pursued by Dr. Gel of the... how do you even say that? Of the Gogol Empire? And the series has loose continuity, with several episodes featuring the main protagonists and the antagonists dying, getting turned into zombies, or getting trapped in different dimensions for periods of time, only for them to show up as normal in the next episode. And there's many references to older science fiction, music, anime, internet culture, blah blah blah. But it's yeah, it has no consistency, but it's just one of those where it's like a new adventure in today's episode kind of thing. And I don't think it's too long. I don't think. It like ran for the year. But you wouldn't think much of it, would you? With an anime called Space Dandy. Haven't watched anime in so long. I'm kind of the same sort of... Now and again I get the urge to watch stuff. I think the most recent I ended up watching was I went back to something I used to watch around Christmas time, which was... my brain's leaving me. From the artwork it looks like City Hunter, but in space. I have not seen City Hunter, so I cannot say. It is very amusing though. Ironically, it was also one of the few anime I actually watched in English. Like, it's one of those that actually has a pretty good English dub. So, take from that what you will. Like, it worked. I don't know why. It's just one of those. Oh yeah, I was saying what I ended up watching. Give me a second. I thought it was called something else, but I think I'm remembering a different... Oh no, Amagami? What was it called again? Oh, got to search through my... I'm sitting too close to the screen. Oh, I'm going in there, I'm going there. I'm definitely sitting too close to the screen. My vision's not liking this. Oh, it was you. Oh, I was right. Oh, it was. Okay, yeah, it was Amagami SS. That's what I ended up watching around the Christmas period, because it's a Christmas anime. It's centered around Christmas time, all the events leading up to Christmas. It's one of those where every 4 episodes he ends up... well, it shows what happens if he would go with this girl, like select your own route. I still don't know which one to use. Yeah, so every 4 episodes it was like a refresh of... it's this arc with this character. Now we go back to before all of this. Now he's going with this person. That sort of thing. It still makes me laugh though in some of them, where he's like, I still haven't got over when I got stood up over 2 years ago for Christmas. It left a scar in me and now I can never love again. I'm like, wow, melodramatic. Like, I get it. It can wound someone, but still, being stood up for a date that you were going to have on Christmas time. One date where you probably barely even knew the person. What? How can you hold on to something for 2 years? But then again, who knows? It double hurts on Christmas. Amazing. I guess it must do. Like, I can understand if maybe he had been with the person prior, and then, you know, the date was like reaching the next step kind of thing. I would get it, leaving a scar for many years, but from the premise of the anime, it just makes it seem like it was some random girl that he had the courage to ask, will you spend Christmas with me? And they agreed, and then nothing happened. It would be disappointing, but it... yeah. I guess some people can, like, just hold on to those sorts of things. I got bit on my neck because there was nothing there before, and now it's itchy now and again, and it's there, and it's like, arrgh. Why is it always my neck? Why do bugs like going after my neck? heresy. But yeah, it made me laugh with some things. But it was also funny that the personality of the MC would change depending on the girl that he was going with. And I'm like, shouldn't his personality be the same? They can see the veins and smell the blood through the thin skin there. Yeah, but like, the weather's really cold. What the hell has the courage to not be ditzy or frozen from this weather and is like, oh, you, nom nom nom. But yeah, that guy's personality would change, and it was always funny. Like, he'd either be a decent guy, or on some cases he was like a pervert, or on another one he was like super smart, and I'm just like, what? Your hair is frozen? What did you do? Did something spill on your hair while you were outside? Why is your hair frozen? Or did you spray it with something and then went outside and it did that same thing? Madness, I say. I was just looking as well at the games that come out in the beginning of the year. It just seems like Reanimal, which looks like... I think it's being made by the original people that did Little Nightmares, but this is obviously their own thing, considering a different team made number 3. To be fair, as soon as I heard that it was co-op, I was like, co-op horror isn't scary, because someone's there with you. Although, Reanimal is also co-op, but it looks like they've done it properly. You don't know you washed it, conditioned it to keep it soft and nice, but after 2 days it feels like it's frozen. Resi? Resi 5? Hey little beast man, welcome in. 5 is an odd one. It is co-op, but there are some mad nutters that actually really like Resident Evil 5 because of that. Hey Amal, welcome in, good day, hope you're doing well. Yeah, that one was co-op, but some people really do like 5 for what it is. I mean, how could you not like Chris? He was built literally like a boulder. At one point he's literally punching a rolling boulder to stop it from crushing them. Like, what more could you ask for? I find 6 was the worst, because it's like they tried to satisfy everyone, and in doing so, it satisfied no one. So it's kind of just in this very mid zone, because they have 3 different campaigns in Resi 6. One of them plays like Gears of War, another plays like your more traditional Resident Evil experience. Was the third one Ada's? I can't remember. I know you could play as Ada, but I can't remember if she was the third one. Either way, 6 is an odd one. 6 was annoying because it had a boss that I think you fought it like 8 times or something. It just wouldn't bloody die. It was so annoying. You were the same as like Leon and Helena at one point, where you just flippin' die, you stupid boss. Pretty much. It's not like it had a bunch of stages, it's just you kept whacking him back, and then you'd bump into him later because he keeps regenerating. And it's like, stop regenerating, you annoying thing. All you know about Resident Evil is that everyone hates Ashley. Ashley was from 4, and inherently she wasn't actually bad. It was just there's certain segments in the game where you really need her to stay with you, but she likes to keep a certain distance. However, the enemy at those points liked coming around out of nowhere, and oh, it depends. There might be 2 bits. It was either the labyrinth light section that would drive people nuts because you just wouldn't follow properly, or it's the bit where you're activating something in this really long, I don't even know what to call it, an indoorsy, bricky, water craziness area, and you've got to defend her and defend yourself while also doing other things. Meanwhile, she's just sort of standing there. Oh yeah, and they would try to kidnap her, yeah. The cult would try picking her up and wandering off. You like co-op horror games, even if they're not frightening anymore? Your favourite is Phantasmaphobia. Phantasmaphobia? I think I said that wrong. Phasmophobia, there we go. Sadly, you've never played Resident Evil. Resi's everywhere. Like, I never really saw Resi as a horror in the first place, but one could say because of the voice acting being so over dramatic that it kind of nulled the horror aspect a bit. But the 4 was taken, like, a lot of people liked 4, regardless of Ashley. People very much liked 4. Like, they liked Leon, they liked how all the combat and the exploration and everything was done. 5 came around at a time when co-op games were very in, like very focused on. So that's why 5 was a co-op madness, same with 6. And then 7 took it in a different direction and turned into the first-person Resident Evil games. And then we've gotten to, what, 9 now? Yeah, we've gotten to Resi 9 now, which looks like you can switch between 3rd and 1st, which is interesting. Played Phasmo once or twice with your friends. You think you needed to play it more to understand and get the hang of it? That's how it usually goes. For people that have played it a lot, from what I've seen, they end up like instantly being able to tell what the hell the ghost is just by like 1 or 2 of the things that ends up happening. And I'm like, damn. Meant to be quite fun though. I've played like tidbits of Resident Evil though. Like, I played a little 1, I've played the on-rails shooter that was on the Wii. I've played 5 and 6 with people. That's about it, really. I only watched playthroughs of 2 and 4. Were those the remakes? By chance? They're pretty much the same thing, they just look prettier, with some slight differences. Yeah. I like how when the remake of 3 came out and people were very like, why wasn't this DLC added on to 2? And I'm just like, you realise how 3 was made originally, right? Like, they tried to make something new, it kinda didn't work, so they ended up having a short amount of time, so they just basically carried on with 2. But I know many are looking forward to Resident Evil 9. I'm not fussed. It's not a series I really go for, weirdly. Don't know why. It just doesn't really interest me. I like watching them. I think they're fun to watch. But yeah, I don't really play them. Terrible at dealing with horror stuff. If I haven't bothered with horror in a long time, me too. Surprisingly, I've played quite a lot of horror on here. I think I've played at least 2 or 3 horror games. You've seen some of Village, so number 8. Yeah. If I was playing with people, then it ain't a horror game anymore. Like, sure, things might try and spook me, but I feel like co-op based horror, minus a few, usually try to go for like jump scare tactics to try and keep things tense, and that works for a time, but it's what adventure and thriller at that point. Yeah. Like, what game was it? Take the Fatal Frame series. Really good atmosphere, and I do really enjoy the games. But you get used to it. Like, not even halfway through the game, you get used to how it does things, and then it just turns into, like, oh, it's more of this, more of that, and then you sort of just carry on for the story by that point. Because Fatal Frame 2 is having a remake again. Well, I suppose it actually is a remake this time. The one on the Wii was more of a remaster. But that one also had the third person movement, so... Any good horror visual novel games? Higurashi is generally a good horror visual novel. Probably a few others, but I can't really think of those off the top of my head. Yeah, that's the thing. And usually horrors and puzzles are kind of synonymous. So if you end up making things too difficult for the majority, then yeah, like you said, the horror part of it, the thing that makes that tenseness ends up disappearing because it's just replaced by frustration and it ain't gonna want people to carry on. So trying to find a sweet spot is important because you don't want it to be brain dead easy because that's no fun. But I have watched some horror games where the puzzles are so like oh, my brain goes. The Fatal Frame 2 remake though is coming out in March. Ironically, it comes out the day before Monster Hunter Stories 3. But that's fine, I'm not in a rush for that game. Be interesting to go back to 2. 2 is like one of the favourites, that's why it keeps getting done so often. I really wish they would just make a new Fatal Frame game, but you know. Here we are, we just have 2. And then in April, towards the end of April, we have Pragmata. That looks cool. Otherwise, I don't really have much else I'm wanting to play currently. That means I have till like February to keep things busy for games, which the Atelier game probably will take a while, honestly. Yeah, of course. I just realised, I remember every time zippers are usually redeemed, it's never just once. And that is held true once again. You're the second person to request the zipper today. Very slowly. How slowly is very slowly? Nothing is an odd request. Slowly, it just sounds very quiet. That's about all. Oh, my drink has. Oh. That's okay, I don't mind. Hey, imbecile. Hello, Fuji. Hello, hello. Welcome in. How am I? I am tired, Fuji. I am tired, but I am good. I do good. How are you? How goes the days of Fuji? Not Thursday yet. I'll be knackered. Never fun times with those eggs. I'm glad you're better today though. Loofahs are nice. Clearly, people's heads need to be held. How that helps things, I don't know, but you never know. Earcuppies first, because that's what's next. How's it? How on earth can you say that? He's my mod. For 14. I mean, I've done next to none of the post-game content, like, for Dawn Trail at all, so I have a lot to catch up on. Yet for some reason I feel I'd rather start from the beginning again rather than trying to go through that one. I don't know why. I did him for a time. Yeah, I did it for like one raid bunch. But the people I had were getting very focused on... They were the kind where if their pass wasn't like, you know, in the 100 percentile, you know, perfect thingy, then they didn't want to really complete things. So, yeah. I played as a bard, by the way. Although it was funny, because one of our healers had not the best internet, bless her, and there was a lot of times I was at least looking after her, because I was like her pair during certain mechanics, so I was doing my best to make sure I'd be in position so she could get to me. She tried. But we ended up like completing the raids, thank god. But oh my god. It was very rough for her, like, of all things, a healer, and having lag issues. Oh. It was broken, but it was hiccuping. It made me just thinking of how those raids went. They were fun though. They were good fun. Actually, we might have done 2 sets. Oh, either way, it was good fun. Fun until people started being like, percentiles, blah. To be fair, only 2 people out of our entire raid group cared about that. The rest of us were just like happy to even complete the damn thing. But, you know, sad days. Because obviously positions and being in the right position at the right time, especially with savage raiding, is, well, important. And luckily the 2 healers are like friends in real life as well, and they get on really well. So he was doing his best to like help her, but back then the only sort of pull me get over here kind of thing we'd have was well, I suppose it's still the same way, but before healers had dashing, you only really had rescue. So he would basically see what was happening, get into the position that she was supposed to be in, ready, rescue her there, and then quickly sprint to his location. So really both of our healers were being very pressured because he was doing her best to look after her, but also doing his best to look after everybody else, which was very rough. So I did my best to not really mess up. Not horribly, at least. Healers having dashes? Yeah, it's great. You can dash to players and enemies and stuff. It's good fun. But, oh, there was just so many... There was a lot of fun times. I remember doing so many of the things, because it was around the time of, like... I remember doing, Mitsumgar, who was a pain in the ass for internet issues, at least before he was nerfed. And there were other times at points where we sort of would get back together. I remember doing... I can't remember the fight. It was an FF8 fight though. And surprisingly I was kicking ass at that one, because there were a lot of different mechanics. But it was cool. I just can't remember. There was another one that was utterly bonkers, and it took us a long time to get through it. Woof. I just can't remember what it was called. Lord knows. I can't fully remember, but I know we did a bunch. And then lo and behold, eventually I moved away from Bard, and I ended up giving Healer a go, which was nerve-wracking to begin with. But once you get used to it, fantastic days. And sweet mercy, it's really strange that people get so happy that you DPS and heal. Very strange. Like, what do people usually do? Do they just heal? Is that it? Where's the DPS? You have DPS things, just use them. If some bugger keeps not moving out of the way of AoEs, then teach them a lesson by not healing them. Nah, it wasn't that bad. You give them enough things, but if they keep getting Vuln stacks, there's not much you can really do to help them. You can't assume that. It reminds me of the Nier raid. Oh, the Nier raid was so crazy fun as a healer. Especially when people didn't know mechanics. That was so fun. I enjoyed it. People might say it was stressful, but it was kind of nice when it's just like your healer is doing the heavy lifting. I remember a guy who just kept like somehow dying like after every other mechanic Usually you would stop raising such a person, but when I could, I just kept raising them, and they kept accepting, and I was just like, he was, they were trying, that's the main thing, they were trying. Oh, bless. I remember having good fun, just because I got to know the fight to the point where you sort of just end up doing silly things because you know you can. Or if I mess up, oh well, that just means I need to, like, focus a bit more. Or, like, I can look after myself. That was also the days where I would play as an Astro. Oh, that was funny. Giving myself such a big ass shield, and then not dying to something that should have killed me, because my shield just about managed to save me. Like, you know, you get a crit shield, so instead of having a tiny one, it ends up being a secondary health bar, pretty much. Happy days. Those were the days. Anyway, I'm going to do some Lufus. those were the loofahs. My eyes are very puffy because of how I am. I'm also very hungry. What a combo. A wombo combo. But, yeah. FF was good. Good fun. The only MMO, for whatever reason, that I managed to actually stick with. I tried others, it didn't really work. It's all good. If I don't move too much, I'm sure my stomach won't complain. And I tend to just close my eyes here and there, because they're gonna get puffy regardless. It happens more when I do ASMR, of all things. I suppose there's a reason we tell our streamers to, you know, look after yourselves. Like, streaming in general, I guess, goes that way, but I think streaming particular things is, like, more tiring than others. I've said before, like, gaming doesn't really do much to me because I'm used to gaming. I can play for ages and be like, oh yeah. But ASMR's different, even though I feel like I'm not doing too much. I'm more focused into the anything that moves kind of thing. Yeah. Like, if there was actually, I was gonna say, if there was anything that I could stream for a lengthy period of time, it'd be gaming. But then I think about it, and I don't know what it is, but like, games hold me for a while, but eventually my brain just goes, you've been doing this for a long while, stop. And my brain just sort of tries to switch off, so I can't really do lengthy gaming thingies, because it bores me, weirdly. What an odd thing to say. I think it is just my own brain ends up going, you need to, you know, stop playing. Like, if I've been playing all day, like, say I was playing like 16 hours in a day, or something around that, then my brain just goes into, like, it feels lethargic, and I'm like, oh, okay. I get the feeling though, I mean, it doesn't help that a lot of the games I tend to play are like these big, massive exploration, RPG, madness things. And I don't mean open world stuff, I just mean generally how RPGs can be, where it's like, this will take you 40 to 60 hours minimum. And that's if you don't really do much. So, who knows? I think I would at least eat my sandwich. Like I said, I love my sandwiches, so I definitely have a sandwich. But other than that, that would probably be my only break. That's my only break. Or if I was like in dire need of going to the loo, then fair enough. Else I'm just gonna straight play the game. As odd as it sounds, I think it might be because I really like sleeping as well. And I know I get very little sleep, but that's due to work. I'm not going to bed early just so I can sleep properly. Like, sod that. I'm not having work dictate that. But I do like sleeping. I like it because I usually, or at least in the past, I used to daydream a lot before going to sleep. And then sometimes that would end up making it into my dreams if I'd actually remember them. I don't really do it so much anymore now, but I do look forward to having sleep. Because it's just a rest from everything. And it's relaxing. So I think that's why I also wouldn't really game unless I would set out for something particular, goal-wise. I don't mean within the game, like in terms of streaming. If I was gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna try and do this, then I'll do it. But otherwise, normal gaming, my brain just goes, you've been doing this all day, rest. Go have a rest, go sleep, go process all the information that you've been given. Because games do give you a lot. And then, you know, there might have been things that I missed. So I'm like, okay, I'll think it through. You have the option some days. You'd like to stay up for 24 hours with repercussions on some days, but you also like to just lay down and relax. Yeah. It was a time of my brain just switching off, so I was thankful for those times. Although now I've semi-learnt to, you know, not really overthink anything. Either that or I'm too tired to overthink anything, so why not? Yeah, I do like being able to catch things that I wouldn't usually be able to catch. It's nice. That's usually what happens on my random days off. It's like, oh, well, I'm not in tomorrow. I'll just do this, leave it on, watch the people I know. And then, who knows, maybe it will lead somewhere, and sometimes it does. That's how I found some people before I started streaming. I don't really remember how, but I know I was on my own. I had time off for a lengthy period of time. I was watching something. I just can't remember how I arrived there. But then I left it on because they were doing a subathon. So I was like, okay, I'll just leave it on. Kept the stream on my TV at the time, and I just fell asleep. Good times. There's a thing on this. Yeetle. There you go. I'm glad I blow them, because after using the Ponton, it always has a bit of fluff that blows out the ear. That's why you blow them. Goodness gracious. Goodness. Goodness. Oh yeah, I was saying before with the Atelier game that I'm playing now, eventually I will play Sophie 2. Like, I mean, by the time I go to play that game, it'll probably be when people forget. Kind of, yeah. Kind of amusing seeing a bit of the fluff fly out of this microphone's ear thing. But yeah, whenever I go to play that game, it'll be interesting, and straight away you will notice the quality of difference. Or at least I feel you should. Probably a bit harder to see when the stream will be at 1080. Ironically, there was a thing that Twitch put on for that you could opt into for a time, having it be at 1440. But that's just more resources for my PC. More resources that I don't necessarily want to expend. So, I'm okay for now. Like, I'm sure there will be a difference, but it's still streaming, like... I can say there is a difference between 1080 and 1440, but that's in a game. In streaming, I mean, that depends how you have your settings, I feel. So, yes. But, yeah. Because initially I didn't have it installed, so I reinstalled Sophie 2. Already it's like twice the size in terms of, you know, space compared to this one, the newest one. But like, just booting it up... No, I tell a lie, it wasn't from my PC version, because I wouldn't have been able to look at anything. I reinstalled my PS5, no, 4 version, because it was a PS4 game, and it looks better. And it's a PS4 game. Is it a bigger game, or is it just old? Good question. Like, I don't know the number of places visit-wise, but I will say... Good morning, Goose. Welcome in. I will say that the textures are more, you know, high def. That's why it has a bigger size. Busy doing puppy care? Puppy! I hope the puppy is doing well. A German Shepherd. I see. Yep, I'm gonna teach them about, well, where to go for the toilet, basically. Until then, plenty to clean. Or you can have one like my dog, where he barks at anything. But yeah, with persistent training, you'll get that sorted. Who's the good boy? Goose's little German Shepherd, or my doggo? Or both. I mean, dogs in general are, like, innately good. So you're not wrong. After all, there is no such thing as a bad dog, just a bad owner. You know, if they were to be very bad. Because the dog has to learn those things, or, like, you know, gets away with doing naughty things. I saw a German Shepherd today, actually. I don't think it was fully grown, but it's always nice to see one. Same as an Alsatian. I like Alsatians as well. I like most dogs. I like most animals, to be fair. Just don't expect me to name them. I'm usually quite bad. But I'm slowly learning, because the difference between a German Shepherd and an Alsatian is the hips on a German Shepherd are lower. Like, you'll see when it's standing up straight that its spine sort of goes down where its rear legs are. So that's how you know it's a German Shepherd. Whereas an Alsatian's is just like dead straight, because it doesn't have a lower or like shorter back legs, so to speak. I'm just used to seeing Yorkshire Terriers, to be fair. Good old Yorkies. And Scottish Terriers are nice as well. I actually seen a standard terrier. Apparently, my demon dog Dante is taken as a toy terrier. I would not take him as a toy, but he's classed as a toy terrier, apparently. Because I seen a standard terrier, and I was like, Jesus, they're big. So yeah, standard terriers are huge. Obviously nowhere near as big as a German Shepherd or an Alsatian, but comparatively to Demon, they're big. He's doing alright though. He's still an old man. Well, my old brother. He's my younger brother that is older. But he's doing good. I think it's his birthday in March, I think. It's hard to know when dogs are actually born, because I think most tend to go by when you get them, like when you purchase them, sort of thing. But I don't prefer that. I actually would prefer when they were born, when they came out from their mother, like any other creature. But I do actually have food, and my eyes are trying to kill me. So it's getting close. Anyway, I was thinking of having a slightly shorter stream today, so I'm just quite tired. So have some tapping, because I didn't tap for ages. I'll eat, and then I'll grind slightly on Atelier, because I want the 2 characters I got to be somewhere near my level. And then, yeah, I'll just end up going to bed. Oh no! Wait, why? When do they open up? I bet it's gonna be next week or something. Do you think they aren't open at the same time as when you've gone back, but it's fenced off? That's weird. I wonder what happened there then. Maybe someone broke in. Hard to say. That's just a guess. Wait, your bookstore too? That sucks. They take your food, they take your bookstore. What the hell? I'd inquire, if you can, for, like, from someone. Find a builder. Builders always tell you everything. Someone had to put that stuff up. Someone must know. I mean, it is a given. You can walk up to a builder, just be a bit confident about things. Wear a high vis and be like, yeah, so what's happened here? Very suspicious. Maybe someone took all the chicken and pasta. Or there was like a leak or something. It's hard to say. Indeed. Oh my eyes. Please. Why do I get the dreadful feeling like eventually I'm not gonna like bright sources either, so I'm gonna be screwed. I won't be able to look at night mode of things, and I won't be able to look at the bright mode either. The beloved chicken and pasta bake things. I'm just calling it that because I remember having stuff like that. They were nice. Pochi, pochi. Oh. Oh, that's been a while. Alrighty. Let's... should be okay. Maybe. Maybe. Hang on. Yep, that's okay. We'll go raid Nico, cause it's been some time. Yeah, tomorrow will be ASMR again. Properly low energy ASMR. Even lower than this. I'll have little energy. But yeah, my socials are all there. Discord's there, YouTube's there if you're interested in VODs and weekly uploads and the like. Raid message is there if you want to use it. The one with the hearts is if you don't have a sub. Yeah. Do take care of yourselves. Thank you as well, Toby. Yeah, take care of yourselves. Keep your liquids up. Stay warm if you need to. And yeah, I'll see you in NXT. Bye bye. Bye bye.